Good afternoon, friends, and thank you very much for coming for this afternoon's briefing. As you are aware, we are going to have a very important visitor in Delhi, and the focus of the briefing today will be on that. The President of France will be coming here on the 14th, and for that I have here with me our Ambassador in France, Mr. Rakesh Sood, on my right, and Joint Secretary Europe West, Mrs. Ruchi Ghansham. What we will do is that I will request Joint Secretary Europe West to make an initial statement and some opening remarks regarding the visit of the President of France. And following that, the floor will be open for questions relating to this visit. After that, as usual, I will also be available to take any other questions that you would like. So if I may clarify again, we will begin with the visit of the President of France and question and answers related to that visit, and subsequent to that, if you are interested in any other questions. If that is clear, let me request Joint Secretary Europe West to make her opening remarks regarding the state visit of President Hollande to India.
Thank you so much, Akbar. So, President Hollande of France is coming to India at the invitation of Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh. This is a state visit, and it will be on 14th and 15th of February 2013. He is accompanied by Mrs. Valerie Trier-Willer, as also a high-level delegation, which includes several key ministers of his cabinet, senior officials, business people, and of course the media, very important media. This is his first bilateral state visit to Asia. During the course of his visit, he would be in New Delhi and in Mumbai. The India-France relationship was upgraded to a strategic partnership in 1998, and with this and the ongoing interactions and engagement that we have with France, we have a multifaceted relationship which covers areas such as defense, civil nuclear, energy, space, and counter-terrorism. We have very good and fruitful exchanges and cooperation going on with France in a number of areas apart from this as well. The civil nuclear energy cooperation is an important area for both countries. We remain fully committed to our civil nuclear energy program and also to taking the Jaitapur nuclear project forward. Discussions will take place on this between the two leaders. On defense cooperation, Indian and French defense forces have a very good defense cooperation that's going on. Exchanges and visits to the defense establishments are carried on a yearly basis. There have also been joint exercises between the Army, Navy, and the Air Force. On MMRCA, Rafale was chosen after a rigorous, thorough, and fair competition, purely on merit. Negotiations are ongoing. The status of negotiations is likely to be discussed between the two leaders. On space, we have established also a very good cooperation between the two countries. The progress made is satisfactory, and both countries are working towards further expanding in the coming years for mutual benefit. The Indo-French satellite Megatropics for studying tropical atmosphere was successfully launched by India's PSLV on October 12, 2011. At present, the data products are distributed to the global scientific community for validation. Satellite for Argos and Altika Saral, which is another India-France joint satellite to study sea surfaces, sea surface altitude, and it is also expected to be launched soon. Both these space joint ventures are seen as a significant contribution to the global community's understanding of weather and climate change. Yes, a very important seminar was held recently on 5th and 6th of February between the two sides in Bangalore, CNES of France and ISRO. And this discussed the future areas of cooperation between the two countries in this very important area of our collaboration. Economic and commercial relations with France are also important and growing, and we are both focused on expanding our bilateral trade and investments. This is an area where both countries want to expand and achieve faster progress. Provisional trade figures for 2011-12, the trade was US dollars 8.89 billion. Another area of very important area of cooperation and collaboration between India and France is science and technology. Now here the Indo-French Center for Promotion of Advanced Research, it's called CEFIPRA for short, has established a strong partnership over the past 25 years. It completed 25 years last year, and there are 800 PhD and postdoctoral students who have benefited from this bilateral cooperation. The collaboration has led to 1,162 research publications in peer-reviewed journals, and it has generated 18 patents. So this is an important area for exchange between the French and Indian scientists. Education is another area where we want to expand our collaboration and cooperation further, higher education in particular, and there is both sides feel that there is good scope for such expansion of cooperation. We do encourage to have greater student exchanges between the two countries. IIT Rajasthan is one of the projects on which we are working together and making progress. So that is another important bilateral collaboration between the two countries. Cultural exchanges and cinema. This is another interesting and important area. France and India had organized Bonjour. France had organized Bonjour India, and India had organized Namaste France. And the second edition of Bonjour India is being organized by the French government in the first quarter of this year. India will also organize Namaste France at a mutually convenient date in the future. This year is also 100 years of Indian cinema, during which a number of we look forward to associating with a number of festivals in France, and this is it's going to be another important year for promoting better understanding of India through culture and through cinema. So these are some of the ongoing interesting and important areas of collaboration and cooperation. In conclusion, I think I would say that we enjoy with France a very close and special relationship. We want to extend to President Hollande a very warm welcome for his first visit to India. We have worked out a very comprehensive agenda for our discussion. which will include, apart from bilateral issues, multilateral and regional issues. And we consult with each other on important international issues. And we do hope that President Hollande and his delegation will have a very pleasant and enjoyable stay in India. Thank you.
Now, the floor is open for any questions that you may like to have on this visit. So let's start. And please remember that everybody only one question. So make your choice. Yes, Vijay Nayak.
My question is to the ambassador. Could you tell us something about the Jaitapur, this civil nuclear cooperation, and what is the present status of the talk negotiations, and when are we going to see the fruition of the agreement between India and France?
Well, I can try and explain to you the kind of discussions that we have been engaged in on Jaitapur. First of all are the discussions between Arriva and NPCIL, because as you know, in India it is NPCIL which is the operator and Arriva is the manufacturer of the reactor. These negotiations started in 2010 in real earnest, but then because of the Fukushima disaster, the negotiations went into slow motion while the French authorities reviewed implications and lessons learned out of Fukushima and what implications there would be for building more security safety measures into the EPR. Once that exercise was completed, they have shared the full results, because just as we have the Atomic Energy Regulatory Board, they have their own regulatory agency called the ASN. So it was more than a 1600-page long document which they shared with us. Our scientists, engineers have been through it, and after that then the negotiations have resumed based on all of this together. There are certainly issues pertaining to costs. There are issues because we have certain inbuilt, we have certain local expertise in terms of, because we have built our own reactors, though not of the same size. But as you know, we have a certain experience. And so while we would like to take benefit of the new technologies that are inherent in the EPR that Arriva has designed, we would also like to take this opportunity to upscale our own technological capabilities in our private sector and public sector. The French also have certain concerns regarding our nuclear liability law. So as recently as February, on the week beginning 4th of February, we had one French team which was in Mumbai for discussions regarding the liability law, and we had a second French team which was in Mumbai for discussions pertaining to how much of work can be done by the Indian private sector, etc., in order to reduce costs while maintaining the same degrees of efficiency. So that's roughly where these discussions stand. I mean, it's still something which is ongoing, and I don't think that, that we are at a stage where we can say, okay, everything is, all the discussions have now been concluded. But all I'm saying is that this is roughly the play in the negotiations and the discussions which are ongoing. But as I think the Joint Secretary mentioned, we are fully committed. India is fully committed, and I think that is a statement that you have heard at the highest levels in India, that we are fully committed to developing our civilian nuclear energy potential, and certainly therefore to this project, which is an extremely important part of it.
Parul Malhotra.
Good afternoon. Can be to whoever chooses to answer this. Will official talks also touch upon two issues? One, the turban ban in France, and also on the case involving an Indian national whose child was allegedly raped by a French consular official. Does the government believe that it's a fit case for it to take up this matter?
On the turban issue, this starts from an act of the French government of 2004, which was, to be precise, I'll just tell you. It's the Act of 15th March 2004 on conspicuous religious symbols in schools, and it prohibits the wearing of conspicuous religious symbols in French public schools. So this is an issue which is applied without discrimination in France. So no matter which religion a person is from, they cannot display conspicuous religious symbols in public schools. But that does not apply to private schools or to universities. We have taken this up with the French authorities on occasions. Most recently, a French delegation had come, which discussed with us this issue again. The important thing is that we are in dialogue with the French government on this, and also the French government is in dialogue with the leaders of the local Sikh community in France. So this is a matter that is part of our ongoing discussions. As for the case of the French national, the matter is sub judice, as you are aware. So there's at this stage we will have to go by whatever the law states. Thank you.
Ranjit?
I have a specific question on defense cooperation. France and India are discussing joint development and production of short-range quick reaction missile. So has there been any agreement been finalized?
Well, the fact that yes, we have this cooperation project called the SR-SAM, or Short Range Surface to Air Missile. Both sides agreed some years ago that they would undertake joint R&D, design, and so on. And let me put it like this: I think the cooperation and design and R&D has proceeded very satisfactorily, and now will come a decision in due course about how to make this a reality. But yes, the fact that we've had these joint R&D project with them is well known, and we've been working together with them on this.
Manish?
We are rolling out the red carpet for the French president on Valentine's Day. What is the new spark in India-France relationship? What does the new French president bring to the table which his predecessor did not? And in this context, I want to speak about trade and investment.
One question.
This is the trade and investment.
What's your question?
On trade and investment, can we expect some news?
Well, I think, we have what the Joint Secretary described. What we have with France is something called strategic partnership. And the term strategic partnership is not used lightly in this context, because I think in all the sectors, as Ruchi had explained, in all the key sectors like defense, civil nuclear energy, space, aerospace, and so on, we have ongoing significant ongoing cooperation projects with France. All these are highly sensitive sectors, and that is a fact. Now, in addition to that, you talked of trade and investment. I think in addition to that, yes, the bilateral trade has been, in my personal view, I think it should be higher, and I'm quite sure that both sides will commit themselves to expanding the gamut of bilateral trade between the two countries. Ruchi mentioned a figure of close to about 9 billion euros 2 years ago, which I think is much less than the actual potential. The potential would be much larger. Secondly is the question of French investment into India. And here, you know, I was told the French embassy in Delhi carried out a little study because we were getting different kinds of figures. The figures which we have from the RBI, which are figures pertaining to investment coming directly only from France. Those figures are roughly to the tune of about 3 billion euros. However, French companies, as you know, there are many global French companies, and many of them route their investments into South Asia through, let's say, Singapore or Dubai or other centers. And if you look at that, and then of course there's profits generated by the companies which get redeployed into the Indian operations and so on. So if you look at that, then the actual French investment into India, according to the study that the French embassy has put out, is nearly 5 times as large, which would make it very significant. But there are about 800 French companies that operate in India and are supposed to employ a total of more than 200,000 people. So it's a fairly significant economic commercial presence. Virtually all the CAC 40, or you know, like we have the NSE 50 or things like that, the phrase they have is CAC 40, which is their 40 large companies. Virtually all their CAC 40 companies have significant presence here, and some have been here for more than 100 years.
Yes.
Yeah. In addition, I may add that you know, Foreign Minister Fabius has recently appointed Paul Hermelin, Hermellin. Paul Hermelin is the CEO of one of France's biggest IT companies called Capgemini. Capgemini employs about 40,000 people in India alone. So, and it is not just the largest employer, largest French employer in India. There are others as well. So Paul Hermelin will be accompanying the delegation. He has been appointed as a special envoy by the French foreign minister to develop economic relations, to focus on developing economic relations with India. And obviously he's a very, he's a person who knows India quite well, having come to India in the early 90s, and his India operations, as I said, have now expanded to a payroll strength of 40,000. In addition, we also have the CEOs Forum between India and France, where we have, which is intended to promote private sector to private sector cooperation. So you have a French CEO and an Indian CEO, and the French co-chair is a person by the name of Bertrand Colombe, who heads a very famous large industrial group called Lafarge, which has very large cement interests in India. They're one of the world's biggest cement producers. And on the Indian side, the CEO is Dhruv Sahni of Triveni. And they have met recently in November, and they have come up with some ideas to further expand business to business or industry to industry cooperation.
मेरा सवाल राजदूत साहब से है, परमाणु ऊर्जा और लड़ाकू विमानों के सौदे में क्या आप उम्मीद कर रहे हैं, नई प्रगति क्या है, और क्या दस्तखत होने हैं कुछ समझौतों के ऊपर, या अभी सिर्फ चर्चा ही चलेगी?
इन चीज़ों के ऊपर कोई टाइमलाइन जो है या कोई डेडलाइन जो है, इस तरह से नेगोशिएशन नहीं होते हैं. हर एक चीज़ के अंदर ये काफ़ी पेचीदा नेगोशिएशंस होते हैं, इसके कई डायमेंशंस होते हैं, और उनको सही तरह से नेगोशिएशंस को पूरा करने के लिए बहुत अलग अलग किस्म के जो माइन्यूट डिटेल्स हैं उनके ऊपर फोकस किया जाता है। सिर्फ कॉस्ट की बात नहीं है, टेक्नोलॉजी की बात है, हमारी अपनी टेक्नोलॉजी एब्जॉर्प्शन की बात है, उनके कानूनों की बात है, और ये सारे मुद्दे जो हैं ये सब अलग अलग सब ग्रुप्स बैठ के इसके ऊपर नेगोशिएट करते हैं, और फिर उसके पश्चात एक ओवरऑल पिक्चर आती है, उसमें कॉस्ट भी होते हैं नेचुरली, टर्म्स ऑफ फाइनेंसिंग भी होती हैं, क्योंकि ये बहुत काफ़ी कॉम्प्लिकेटेड एक्विजिशंस हैं, तो इसलिए टर्म्स ऑफ फाइनेंसिंग कैसे होंगी, वो किस तरह आएंगी, तो ये सारी चीज़ें जो हैं इसमें कोई, ये ठीक है कि ये नेगोशिएशंस कुछ देर से कायम हैं, पर हमको लगता है कि ये नेगोशिएशंस सही दिशा में जा रही हैं, और उम्मीद है कि आने वाले दिनों में ये नेगोशिएशंस अपने सही मुकाम तक पहुंचेंगी।
एक